Angel Reese receives her 8th tech, which will prohibit her from playing against the Indiana Fever. And 2, she's in some pretty hot water with her teammates about the Chicago Tribune article.
Angel Reese just got suspended and the whole league is laughing. Not because it's serious, but because the Chicago Sky pulled off the funniest punishment ever. Suspended for half a game. Not a game, a half. Who even does that? Do you think this kind of move makes Chicago look strong or weak? Drop your thoughts below.
But it honestly hasn't been the greatest week for Angel Reese because she did an interview where she talked about all things Chicago Sky, but there was a couple things that she said in the interview that truly rubbed her teammates and her coach the wrong way. And it was kind of a firestorm yesterday on social media. One of the things that was mentioned in the report is that Reese said that she doesn't believe her teammates Rachel Bannum or Haley Van Lith are capable of leading a playoff team. And according to the Tribune, Reese believes that the team needs to be overhauled this season around just 2 solidified pieces on the 2026 roster, herself and Camila Cardoso. She said, "I'm not settling for the same crap we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. However I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm going to do this offseason. I'd like to be here for my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me." Those are sometimes just sentiments that you just don't say publicly. And her teammates unfortunately saw this, the coaching staff saw this, and then it was reported multiple league sources told Front Office Sports the entire team has seen Reese's comments and the teammates are unhappy with the direct attacks. A team meeting is planned at which players are expected to address Reese directly. Now, Angel Reese, since all of that, she has apologized. She has taken some accountability, and the last thing that I will read for you guys is her apology. She said, "I don't think I'm frustrated with my team/organization. I think I'm frustrated with myself. I didn't intentionally mean..."
Now, let's get into this circus because there's no other way to describe it. The Chicago Sky announced that Angel Reese would not play in the first half of their upcoming matchup against the Las Vegas Aces. Yes, you heard that right. She's not sitting out the entire game. She's not missing multiple games. She's suspended for one half. It's not just bizarre, it's comedy gold. I mean, when have you ever seen something like this? At any level of basketball, suspensions usually mean one thing: you're out. You miss a game, maybe a couple of games, depending on what you did. But a half. That's what a college coach does when a kid shows up late to practice or skips a conditioning drill. That's not what a professional organization does when disciplining their supposed franchise star.
It's not been Angel Reese's day. Basically, her entire team feels attacked by her from comments that she made in a Chicago Tribune article. This is what Front Office Sports is reporting. According to the report, Reese said she doesn't believe her teammates Rachel Bannum or Haley Van Lith are capable of leading a playoff team. Guard Ariel Atkins is another player on the Sky's roster with WNBA championship experience. "We are aware of it," Marsh said. Marsh is actually the head coach of the Chicago Sky, and we're addressing it in-house as currently speaking. That's where we're staying right now.
This isn't discipline. This is public relations theater. The Sky wanted to act like they were tough, that they were taking action after Angel Reese called out her teammates and basically threw the whole locker room under the bus. But they didn't want to commit to the full punishment. So they came up with this half-game nonsense, which ends up making them look weaker than before. If you're going to suspend her, suspend her. If you're not, don't. This halfway stuff just screams indecision.
One of the things that were said, I will read you some of the excerpts, which does kind of not make her team look good. One of which say, "We can't rely on Courtney," that's Courtney Vandersloot, "to come back at the age that she's at. I know she'll be a great asset for us, but we can't rely on that. We need someone probably a little younger with some experience, somebody who's been playing the game and is willing to compete for a championship and has done it before." Some of the other stuff that she said was also pretty bad. Like, "I'm not settling for the same shit we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me. I am willing and wanting to play with the best. And however I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm going to do this offseason. So it's going to be very, very important this offseason to make sure that we attract the best of the best because we can't settle for what we have this year."
Now, let's talk about what got her here. Angel Reese decided to go to the media and talk about how the team needs better players, how she's tired of losing, and how things need to change. That kind of talk doesn't stay in the headlines. It burns into the locker room. And what made it worse? She didn't keep it vague. She didn't just say, "We need to improve as a team." She started naming people, pointing out ages, throwing shade at veterans. That's not leadership. That's gasoline on an open flame.
So her saying we can't settle for what we have this year, that is basically like a slap in the face to Becca Allen. That is a slap in the face to Rachel Bannum. That is a slap in the face to Ariel Atkins. And here's another quote. "I'd like to be here for the rest of my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me."
And here's the wild part. Earlier in the year, Chicago's own GM, Jeff P., came out and publicly criticized Angel Reese. He said she needed to step up, do more, and carry a bigger load for the team. No suspension for him, no slap on the wrist, just business as usual. But when Reese flips the script and does the same thing back, suddenly it's detrimental statements, and she's getting sidelined. The double standard couldn't be more obvious. It's like Chicago doesn't even know what direction they're trying to go in. On one hand, they market Angel Reese as the face of the franchise, the one who sells tickets, the player they can build around. On the other hand, the second she opens her mouth and says something blunt, they fold like a cheap chair and start issuing suspensions.
I don't think I'm frustrated. I probably am frustrated myself right now. I think the language is taken out of context, and I really didn't intentionally mean to put down my teammates because they've been through this with me throughout the whole year. They busted their eyes, just how I busted my eyes. They showed up for me through thick and thin in the locker room when nobody could see anything. So I would apologize to my teammates, which I already have, about the article and how it was misconstrued, about what was said, and I just have to be better with my language because I know it's not the message, it's the messenger, and understanding what I say can be taken any kind of way, so I just have to really be better and grow from this.
Here's the truth. Angel Reese is not blameless here. Her play at the start of the season was rough. Layups missed, shooting percentages in the basement, effort questioned. At one point, she was shooting under 30% around the rim. That's inexcusable for a player who makes her living in the paint. The frustration from the GM earlier wasn't coming out of nowhere. She needed to improve, and to her credit, she did get better as the season went on. But even with that, she's still not at the level where she can walk into a press room and start trashing teammates by name.
And watching the bottom of your screen.
That being said, Chicago knew exactly what they were getting when they drafted Angel Reese. This is the same player who thrived on drama at LSU, who made headlines as much for her antics as for her play. She's outspoken, brash, and doesn't bite her tongue. That's part of her brand. You can't embrace that side of her when it's convenient for marketing, and then try to muzzle it when it creates tension. It doesn't work that way. Now, the question everyone's asking, does this mean Angel Reese is done in Chicago? Let's be real. The writing is already on the wall. Her teammates are tired of her. The front office clearly doesn't know how to handle her, and Angel herself looks like she's checked out half the time. It's not crazy to think she could be traded in the offseason. The problem is, who wants to deal with this circus? It's not just about her talent on the floor. It's about whether a team is willing to take on the baggage that comes with her personality. There's this idea floating around that Angel Reese could be out of the league in a couple of years. I don't buy it. She's too talented and too marketable. She rebounds like a machine, she's got a motor that doesn't quit, and she has enough star power to put people in seats. You don't just toss that out of the league. But I do think she's going to have to do some serious growing up if she wants to be more than just a flashy name. Comparisons to Draymond Green aren't far off. Like Draymond, she brings energy, intensity, and a chip on her shoulder. But also like Draymond, she can cross the line, rack up technical fouls, and put her team in bad spots. Angel already has 8 technicals this season. 8! That's not toughness, that's lack of control. And when your team is 10-30, the last thing you can afford is your best player being suspended for technical fouls. So now, Chicago Sky fans are left watching their season crumble, with their supposed stars sidelined not just by her own actions, but by the front office's bizarre punishments. This is what dysfunction looks like. On the court, they're getting blown out. Off the court, their locker room is imploding. And instead of focusing on building a future, they're stuck in soap opera mode. It's also telling that this suspension has blown up in the media. ESPN, Associated Press, every sports outlet has jumped on it. Why? Because it's so ridiculous. A half-game suspension is unheard of at this level. The WNBA already struggles with credibility issues in how it handles player discipline. This just adds another layer of, what are they doing over there? If you're another player in that locker room, how does this make you feel? Do you feel supported because management punished Angel? Or do you feel embarrassed because your franchise just turned itself into a punchline? My guess is it's the latter. Players want stability. They want to know the organization has a plan. Right now, the Sky look like they're improvising everything. And that leads us back to Angel herself. Her reaction to all of this? Pure defiance. She didn't backtrack right away. She didn't walk it back. She doubled down, saying her words were twisted, that she didn't mean to put down teammates, but then immediately reminding everyone that she wants great players around her. Translation: sorry, not sorry. At least she tried to smooth things over with an apology, but by then the damage was done. Once you air out your teammates in the media, there's no walking it back. Trust is broken. The locker room is fractured, and suspending her for a half isn't going to fix that. If anything, it just adds more tension. By the way, let's not act like this is just about one bad comment. This is part of a pattern. Angel Reese has been racking up texts, getting into it with refs, and constantly being at the center of controversy. When that's happening every few weeks, it stops being bad luck and starts being who you are. The Sky are realizing that in real time, and they don't know what to do about it. The saddest part? This team wasn't going anywhere this season anyway. They're sitting near the bottom of the standings, miles away from playoff contention. Suspending Angel Reese doesn't change that reality. If anything, it just accelerates the inevitable breakup between her and the franchise. So where do the Chicago Sky go from here? Honestly, they're backed into a corner. They suspended Angel Reese for half a game, and that tells you everything you need to know. They didn't have the guts to go all in and bench her completely, and they didn't have the confidence to let it slide. They chose the middle road, and the middle road always ends in a ditch. Fans are laughing, media is laughing, and other players in the league are laughing. You don't gain respect in the WNBA with half measures. You either set the standard or you don't. Right now, the Sky are proving they don't even know what the standard is. And let's not pretend this is helping the team's chemistry. When you're already losing and your best player is basically at war with her teammates, there's no suspension band-aid that fixes that. Ariel Atkins and Rachel Bannum aren't suddenly going to love Angel because she sat out 20 minutes against the Aces. Locker room trust doesn't work that way. Once you burn it, it's gone. Let's break this down even further. Angel Reese's issue is not just that she talks too much. It's that her game doesn't fully back up her words yet. She's a fantastic rebounder. No one's questioning that. She hustles, she fights on the glass, and she brings energy. But she's also inconsistent offensively, racks up unnecessary fouls, and as we've already said, she's got a technical foul problem. When you're the best player on a losing team, you can't afford to give people extra reasons to criticize you. And Chicago Sky fans see this too. They see her putting up effort plays one night and then arguing with refs the next. They see her calling for better players while she's still trying to prove she can be a reliable number one option. It doesn't inspire confidence. It creates division. Now, imagine being a free agent looking at this team. Are you rushing to sign in Chicago right now? Probably not. Between the front office chaos, the half-game suspensions, and Angel Reese stirring the pot, this franchise looks like a soap opera instead of a basketball team. That's the kind of environment players avoid unless they have no other options. But here's the thing. Angel Reese thrives in chaos. She's built her entire brand on being unapologetic, confrontational, and dramatic. From LSU to the pros, she's made headlines by speaking her mind and not backing down. Some people love it, others hate it, but everyone pays attention. And that's exactly why she's not going anywhere. Even if Chicago trades her, some other team will take the risk because controversy sells. That being said, if Angel wants to actually win, she's going to have to evolve. The bad girl of basketball act is cute until your team is 10-30 and you're sitting out halves of games for running your mouth. At some point, production has to outweigh the drama. If it doesn't, teams stop tolerating you. Right now, her rebounding and marketability are buying her time. But in a league where careers are short, that time runs out quickly if you don't take the next step. And let's circle back to Chicago's role in all of this. The front office hasn't exactly covered themselves in glory this year. From public criticism of Reese early on to this weird suspension stunt, they've looked indecisive and reactive. Strong franchises set expectations clearly. Weak franchises make stuff up as they go along. Guess which category the Sky fall into? Now let's talk perception. Because in today's sports world, perception is everything. Angel Reese being suspended for a half is now the story. Not the Sky's record, not their future, not their actual basketball games. ESPN isn't talking about their offensive schemes. They're talking about how ridiculous this punishment looks. That's a problem. When the narrative around your team becomes clown show, you've already lost. Meanwhile, Reese is leaning into it. She apologized to her teammates, sure, but then she went right back to implying her comments were twisted and taken out of context. That's not a real apology, that's PR, and fans see right through it. The message she's sending is clear. She's not backing down, she's not changing, and if you don't like it, that's your problem. And honestly, that's why she'll survive this mess, even if Chicago doesn't. She's too stubborn to be broken by suspensions or criticism. If the Sky don't want her, some other team will take her and hand her the keys. That's just the reality. She's a star in this league, whether people like it or not. But here's the catch. Being a star is about more than headlines. It's about consistency, leadership, and making your team better. Right now, Angel Reese has 2 out of 3. She's consistent on the glass, she's a headline machine, but she hasn't shown she can lift her team to another level. Until she does that, she's just noise with rebounds. And that's where this whole suspension saga becomes so ironic. The Sky tried to silence the noise with this punishment, but all they did was amplify it. Now the whole league is talking about Angel Reese again. Her name is trending, clips of her comments are circulating, and the half-game suspension is going to live forever as one of the dumbest punishments in WNBA history. Meanwhile, Chicago still stinks. Their record is still trash, their locker room is fractured, and their season is basically over. Nothing has changed, except now they look even worse. Do you think this was discipline or just desperation? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns of the wildest stories in the WNBA, hit like, hit subscribe, and turn on that bell. More madness is on the way.